Coffee break with me. Woo! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you today? Please excuse the Janis Joplin voice. I gotta say, I'm kind of enjoying it. This is the third video I filmed with this voice, and the longer I film, the more Janis-y it gets, and I'm not complaining. I'm a huge fan. So today I'm here with a review on the, what is this called? Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm totally gonna pretend that I didn't just stop the video, look on my phone, figure out the name, and then just connected the footage. Like, let's just pretend that just happened. So this is the Ricky's blender. You guys, it's dirty, I'm sorry, but in the close-ups that I'm gonna show you, you're gonna see that it's clean, I promise you. So this is the Ricky's New York City or NYC blender sponge. And now, I don't know where I heard that this is an exact dupe for the Beauty Blender. And let me give you a little bit of backstory with the Beauty Blender. I started just like probably everyone else here on YouTube as a subscriber to a million other beauty channels. And I went on eBay and I bought probably 10 to 15 different types of blender sponges. And none of them were, I mean, they were bad and then like really bad. Like that was the spectrum. None of them were even okay. And so finally, after spending probably the same amount that I would have spent on an original Beauty Blender, I just went and got it. I tried it. My face has never felt something as beautiful and magical. My results have never been as flawless as they are with this sponge, with the brush, with my hands. The most stunning, flawless results that I get are with the Beauty Blender. Like, that's just it. And then after a couple of years, Real Techniques launched their Miracle Complexion sponge, and everyone went bananas. Oh my God, it's amazing, it's incredible, blah, 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 blah. And it's probably the closest dupe that I've ever found to a Beauty Blender. And then one of my subscribers told me that the Ricky's NYC store had a super duper 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 similar dupe to the Beauty Blender. So one of my subscriber friends said, hey, I'm gonna go to Ricky's, do you guys recommend me get anything, blah, blah, blah. And I messaged her and I said, hey, someone said that their blender sponge is very similar to the Beauty Blender, so why don't you try it and then let us know. She sent me one. Right? So her name is Yesenia. So hi, Yesenia. She has a really good Instagram. Her account is Swatchalittle, so I will show you guys what it looks like here. So go follow her. Tell her I sent you. She is so sweet. And you know what happens is I become so attached to some of my subscribers. She's one of those where I call her like my subscriber friends. So she sent me this to my P.O. box and I jumped on it. I wanted to use it. I wanted all over my face and I wanted to review it for you guys to see if maybe it is a suitable dupe to the Beauty Blender. So if you're new to my channel, welcome to Coffee Break with Dani, the world of long introductions. That one was long, wasn't it? Okay, so if you guys are in a rush, it's good. Okay, see you later. If you're not, let's go ahead, and I can't review just the sponge without comparing it to other ones. So I really want you guys to understand that. I have to compare it with other sponges that I've used because that's the only fair way that I can come up with reviewing it for you guys. So for a little back knowledge, the Beauty Blender has like a super hardcore patent on it, the actual product of the sponge. So no one is able to replicate it, nobody. So there will always be dupes or similar dupes, but no one could ever get the same type of material that the Beauty Blender is. The Beauty Blender looks like this. It's $20. It doubles in size. It is an egg shape, so you use like the flatter side or the sides of the sponge to bump in the foundation. You turn it to the pointed side to do areas of like the under eye or the, you know, the sides of your nose, smaller areas. So that's that, $20. The Real Techniques one, the product of the sponge is a lot more dense than the Beauty Blender, but when you wet it, it does double in size. But what I've noticed with this guy is it's very noodly. Like you need to really squeeze out that water or it's like smushy. It's like slippery to use. Like for me, it gives me good results, but you really have to squeeze out that water. Otherwise, it's like, it's hard, man. Like, it gives you nice results, but I really can't with feelings. Like, I'm very driven by how things smell and how things feel. And if you're gonna feel like slippery and I don't know, it's hard to describe. You really have to like really squeeze out the water if you want to achieve the feeling of the sponge, a similar feeling of the sponge to that of a beauty blender. So keep that in mind. And I've seen this one as cheap as $5 and as expensive as $8. So it really depends on where you get it. I think the 2-pack is $10. So that might be a way to go. And then the Ricky's one is $10, and it's also one of those sponges that is dry and you wet it and it doesn't quite double in size, but it does expand a little bit. The feeling of the sponge is quite similar to that of the Real Techniques one, except for the fact that it doesn't, once it's wet, it doesn't feel as like floppy and noodly as this one. I feel like this one, once you wet it, it almost loses its composure a little bit. Like that easy grip that you're able to get on it, it loses that composure. And this one doesn't. You really squeeze out the water, and if you're familiar with using a beauty blender, it gives you the same sensation on your hands, but the sponge is still a lot more dense than the beauty blender. There is something about a beauty blender that once it's wet and the water gets squeezed out, it's almost like a cloudy, pillowy texture. So it's so, I mean, you're using it and it's like puppies are licking your face. You know, you don't feel like you're pounding a sponge and foundation on your skin. With this one, it does have some weight to it, and it's dense, it's tight. So let me show you guys. When I squeeze it, that's as far down as I can go. When I squeeze this one, that's as far as I can go. Like, my fingers can touch from side to side. They can meet each other. On this one, they can't. They come together, but the sponge is in the way. Here, my fingers basically touch each other. So there is a lot more density to this sponge. Keeping that in mind, it will feel like you are pounding your face with a sponge, so you want to be a little bit more delicate. If you aren't delicate, if you don't take that approach of like almost like a subtle blending with a sponge, you will move the foundation around more than you probably want to. When you're using the beauty blender and you're pouncing it on the skin, it's such a fluffy, lightweight sponge that you're not pouncing and moving the product. It's basically just floating and like gracefully touching your skin. With this one, it's more dense, so you're like pump, pump, pump. If you like punch it into your skin, you're gonna drag the product, and you really don't wanna do that. Another thing that I noticed is with the beauty blender, you could use it dry and you could get pretty good results. Not the best results and not similar to when it's wet. With these, if you don't wet it, the results aren't going to be that great. You're not going to get that flawless finish. So you absolutely must 100% wet these sponges. If you guys observed in the demo, I mean, the results that I got are flawless. Once you kind of get a hang of how to use it, you get that little knack of how you're going to use it, it's no problem. You get beautiful results. You can see I'm actually wearing it. I used it today with a really thick foundation, the Clinique, here it is. I used it today with the Beyond Perfecting. This foundation is hella thick. And so I actually used it with that, and it did a really good job of blending out the foundation. It does a flawless job. You could use it with like cream products as well. The maintenance is the same, where you wash it under warm water with soap, with warm water and soap. You know what I'm saying. You do have to let it air dry, so you want to have the same type of hygiene habits with it. It's also latex free, so if you're looking for a sponge that is 100% latex free, this might be your way to go. If you were to say out of all these three which one is my favorite, you guys know what I'm gonna say, but it is a $20 sponge. But you know what, you guys, it's $20, but it lasts me, I don't know. I mean, depending on how often I use it, as little as 3 months, as much as like 6 months. I don't do my makeup that often anymore because I'm at home with 2 little boys, but this sponge, I think the most that one has lasted me was about 6 or 7 months, and that's with everyday wash. Like washing it every single time that I used it. With my Real Technique sponge, it does tend to rip a lot sooner, and I noticed this one does have that almost delicate texture where you want to be really careful, especially if you have long nails, because you could really tear into it real easy. So $5 to $7, $10. It's really gonna be up to you and the shape that you want. I would definitely go, I would say this is my first place, this is my second place, and this is my third. I definitely prefer this one over this one, and I never thought I would say that, but this one, I can't get over that like floppy texture. It holds so much water that it literally takes like this magical bicep to like wring it out. It's crazy how much water it actually absorbs. So I prefer this one. And you know what? Another reason why I think I prefer it is because I'm used to the egg shape. I'm totally used to the Beauty Blender egg shape, so I already kind of have like my techniques about using it. And with this one, it's a little bit different, but there are so many hardcore fans of the Real Techniques one, so that's something to consider. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on the Ricky's Blender Sponge. If you guys have a Ricky's near you, I would say it's definitely worth a try because you might find a cheaper alternative sponge on something that you already know you would like. So check it out. I think Ricky's has an online store, so if I can find this sponge for you guys, I will link it in the description box below. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've tried this sponge before, maybe you have some tricks, some tips, some recommendations, let us know in the comment section below. And like always, if you found this video useful, entertaining, or learned something, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, this coffee break is over. Bye guys!